Now, back again, folks, for another. Now, we will start this lesson with an inspirational quote, okay, that I picked up from YouTube.
C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. Oh, cookie, cookie, cookie starts with C. Oh.
Now, one of the great philosophical thinkers of our time, Cookie Monster. All right, so after that, we will start on our next. Oh, my screen's gone blank here. Right. So just another short one. This is just an hour or so. So it's a few more methods of the path class. Okay. So this one, that is static void ex3. Now, I don't think that I actually showed you these two files before, or these two methods we have here before. Okay. So we'll show you what they are. So these are methods of the file class. Okay, so methods create directory or directories. Now, I should have shown you these, but I haven't shown. Methods to create directory using the file. Okay, now I haven't shown these methods before. Should have shown them, but things happen. So we have, first one is mkdir. Now, what does this do? This does exactly as it says in the tin. So this creates a folder. Okay, now it creates a single folder. So we are going to create a folder called books inside here. So we're going to create a folder inside here. Sorry, inside here. Take this out. So we're going to create a folder inside here, and it's going to be called books. Okay. Now, so first of all, now this is using the file class, which I should have shown you before. So I'll go file fdir is equal to new file. I'm going to say books. Okay, got to import that. Import file. All right. Now, so what we want to do is, so if it doesn't exist, so if we're going to say fdir.exists. So if it doesn't exist, what we're going to do, we're going to create a folder books in the application directory. Okay, so go here. So it's fdir.make. So we can say make dir. Okay, so this creates a single folder. Okay, so if it doesn't exist, this guy is going to create it. So I'm going to run here. Examples.ex3. So it has created them, if statement. I refresh this. Okay, there we have books. Okay, there we have books. Now, this will only create a single folder. It will not create a full directory structure of, let's say, animal folder. We have an animal folder. We have a mammal folder inside that. We have an ape folder inside that. And we have a man folder inside that. Okay. So it won't create that sort of structure. Okay. Now you can, I want to create that sort of structure. So instead of using make mkdir, so I'm going to go file. This is going to be fdirs is equal to new file. Now it can be, okay, so I'm going to create it inside the current folder in. So we're going to go animal, we're going to go mammal, we're going to go ape, we're going to go men. Right? So if that doesn't exist, so if, and I go up at that guy and I go fdirs dot exists. If it doesn't exist, what are we going to do? We are going to go, we are creating a full directory structure. Here, so make dirs, so I go fdirs dot mkdirs. Runs a Boolean. So I run this. So we're creating full directory structure true. I'll right click in here. So I'm going to go refresh, and we can see animal, we can see mammal, we can see ape, we can see man. Okay. Now, the equivalent. So what does make dirs do? So this is make dir, and this one is mkdirs. Okay, so this creates a folder, any subfolder that are contained in the folder. Okay, folder and any subfolders after that. This creates a folder and any subfolders and any other branch of that subfolders. Okay, so that creates an animal folder. So this creates a animal folder, has and creates a mammal folder inside the animal folder, creates a ape folder inside the mammal folder, and creates a man folder inside the ape folder. Okay, so mammal, ape, man. Now, let me just see. I'm not too sure if make dir works with absolute files. So let's say I want to create a file. I'm going to say abdir. I'm going to say C is equal to file. I'm going to go C. I'm going to say building. House. So I go if bdir dot exists. If it doesn't exist, create it. So folder directory C drive. It should are going to go abdir.make All right, so let's see, does that work? Yeah, it is. Okay, so good. Now, so if I go to my C drive, I go to here, we can see, what did I call it? Building. There's building, there's house, there's bungalow. Okay, so it does work. Now, if I come along here and if I create a file inside here, okay, and I create this file inside house. All right, so currently we have something inside building, we have something inside house. All right, now if I take off the check here, all right, let's see what happens. All right, so make DIRs won't overwrite the existing DIRs. Okay, so we can see here, had there been overwritten. Okay, so make DIRs will not overwrite the files. Similar up here. Let's say I put something inside the books class. So open a new window. Oh Jesus. I put a new file inside here. New file. I call it, let's say, grapes of wrath. Okay. A book set in depression side America. Kind of apt, I think. Okay. So if I go to create this directory again, okay. So if I go fdir make dir, okay. So if I just go beneath it here, go fdir.make dir. Okay. Okay, so that's false. All right. And you can see it hasn't deleted. So make dir and make dirs. So it's the first thing to point out about them. Okay. So if the directory, all right, if the directory already exists, has something inside it, then make mkdir and mkdirs will not create a new directory. Okay, if the directory already exists and has something inside it, then make now. Actually, what I think happens is because there's something inside the directory. If there's nothing inside the directory, then it will recreate them, but it doesn't make a difference. All right. So if there's nothing inside it, it doesn't matter if it recreates it or not. All right. If it's the same one again, it's not going to do it. All right. Or if we want to, let's say, create a new subdirectory. Okay. And we're going to change this to not a house, but commercial. And we're going to say factory. Okay. And I try to do this. I go abdir dot KDIRS. First time it'll run it. Okay, so that will create. Now let's go back to it here. Okay, so you can create I'll say it, subdirectories inside building. Okay, you can see houses factory. Now it doesn't overwrite anything. Nothing is overwritten. Okay, nothing is overwritten. All that happens is it just puts in another folder inside there, right? So you can add subdirectories to an existing directory. Nothing will be deleted. Okay, so you can imagine a situation when you're doing your application, it's going to be installed in certain folders. It doesn't matter what application it is. So most of my stuff is installed here. All right, so let's see. An example would be, where's Office? Office probably isn't there anymore in an online thing, is it? Shit. Visual Studio, Web Tools. Okay, probably isn't there anymore because it kind of does it all online-y sort of style once upon a time. Oh, there it is actually. Microsoft Office. So it's actually this one. Office 16. I don't know. Okay, I mean, I really don't know at all what's going on there. All right. But you can see the likes of Office, everything's put into different folders. All right. And I actually think the method in C# is also called mk, in make dir and make dirs. All right. So I think in C#, I think it is make dir and make dirs, as far as I can remember. All right. So, and C# is what all Microsoft applications are written in. Right. So when all of these folders are being created, they had make dirs. Now, I have no idea. Once upon a time, maybe just see if it's here. Okay, yeah, that is it. All right, so it's in Office 16. You scroll down here, and you'll see the various exes to open up Excel, for instance. You'll have another one to open up Microsoft Graph, which is part of Word and all the rest of it. Access the greatest pile of shite that is ever done. I yet to meet anyone who likes Access. It is so rubbish. It's been down as being a beginner's database, but it's not. It's actually really difficult to use, really to get anything working right. MySQL is actually much simpler than Access. Okay, so if you're creating an application, all right, and you're going to zip it up, you're going to serialize it or whatever, all right, when you click on you're installing it, what's actually happening is all these directories are going to be created. That uses something like that. Make dirs. Or now, if you're using files, it is make dir or make dirs. All right. Now, with the path, so I should have shown you that when we were doing files. All right. Now, the equivalent. I'll put in a comment here. The equivalent. So we can also create directories and full directory structures by using paths. Okay. Now, the methods are here. We have files dot create directory. Okay. Methods are file dot create directory. So I put this in a print statement. The other one is, let's get this right, files.create directories. Okay, so operate the exact same way as these guys, make dir. So I'm going to create a path, call it dir. And it's going to be equal to get, and we're going to say new dir. Okay. All right. Now, and I'm going to create another one called path dirs is equal to paths.get. And this is going to have a, this is going to be a relative path 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this will, so this is going to be path for, will be the path for creating just folder. And this one here, this will be the path for creating complete directory. Okay. Now, right. Let me just see. Does this work? Okay. Now, I'm not 100% sure why this is the case. All right. Now, make dir and make dirs does not have to be in a try catch block. Now, I'm not 100% sure why that's the case. Okay. So if I don't know why this is the case. So make dir and make dirs. Okay, so that guy and the other guy, which is this guy up here. So you see I've make dirs and then I've make dir. All right, that's the way I pronounce them. I presume you could pronounce it imk dir or imkdir, but I call it make dir. So imk dir, imk dirs. All right, they don't have to be in a try catch block. However, if you're using files.create directory and files.create directories, it has to be in a try catch block. Now, I'm not 100% sure why it has to be for one and not for the other. All right, I don't know. Okay, so I am going to go here. I'm going to have a try. I'm going to have a catch. Right. So if files.exists, oops. Now with all of these exist methods, there's also plenty of other methods to delete if exists. There's exists, not exists. All right. They're all, now is executable is a different thing. That's just trying to find out if this is an exit. So delete if exists, that means if the file exists, delete it and you can create another one. The one I'm choosing to use here is exists. Okay. If it doesn't exist, create it. Actually, that's the one I'm going to use. All right. So if files not exist, so I'm going to take, I'm going to put in here, I'm going to say dir. Right. So if it doesn't exist, what are we going to do? We are going to go files dot create directory. Okay, and we say there. Now, by the way, this attribute here thing here. Okay. Let me just see what's it called again. So just give me a second here. Okay, so that's a file attribute. So I can go file attribute dot. No. That. No. Merge one of this. We'll do it again anyway. Okay. So if it doesn't exist, what are we going to do? We're going to create the directory. What directory we're going to create? We're going to create new dir. And we can do, so if. You can put them all into, you can put them in an R if you want. Okay. But I've just put them in two separate ifs. So if files dot, now I'm going to type which one I'm going to use. I'm going to say delete if exists. This is going to be dirs. We're going to go files dot create. It's create directories. This one is create directory. Now, you can put them all in one if statement if you want to. You can say if file not exists, or now I'm going to change that from not exists to if files dot delete if exists dir. Okay, so if it exists, delete it. If either of these folders, exists, delete. Okay, now we'll be coming to delete in a minute. The rule about delete is you can't delete a folder if there's something in it. All right, just simple as that. All right. So just to prove that these are created, create directory returns a Boolean, true or false. Similar with this one. Put that one in here. Now, I should be getting two trues appeared in there. So I'm gonna run it. Okay, if files, okay, no, that's not gonna work. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay. Files dot delete if exists dir. That returns a Boolean. No, I don't need the new statement. All right, so sorry about that. I don't even need a new statement. Okay. So if not exist, files dot exists, and this is going to be dirs. These are just two different ways. So this is deleted if it exists, dir, and this is created. Okay. So now we run it. All right. So I'm gonna refresh this guy. So we have new dir, and we have 1, 2, 3. Now there's several different ways. So if files doesn't exist, or if they do exist, we can delete them. That's another thing as well. All right. So we could say if files that exist, we can use the delete method. Now I'm not going to do the delete method yet, just to make sure that everything works here. Okay. So they're created. All right. So it creates them. Everything funky dunky. All right. Now, so they operate the exact same way as makedir. Right. So makedir and makeDirs operate in the same way as create directory and create directories. But create directory and create directories are for paths, whereas makedir and makeDirs is for files. That's the only difference in the two. Now, just do one more. Okay, now this is called, so just we'll do one more. Keep my lessons short and sweet. Okay, so we're going to static void ex4. Okay, so we're just going to do this one. So this is okay. Now, copy does what it thinks it is. So this copies the file or the directory that the path points to. Okay, but this is a shallow copy that it will only copy the file okay, let me just show that I've done this right. All right, so only copy the end point and nothing in between. Okay, also if the endpoint is a directory, will only copy the empty directory. Okay, now, right, so I am going to get now if I go to my folder again, all right, and if I see my C drive, I have a folder called original. Okay, now inside an original, I am going to put in a new folder called country, and inside country I'm going to have a file called county, and inside county I'm going to have a folder called town. And change that, rename it, make it lowercase. And this is going to be country, lowercase, just to keep it easier on ourselves. Right, so now I am going to create a copy of town. Now, the address for that. All right, so push in here. So we're going to call this source is equal to paths.get paths.get, go to this guy here, quotes around them. Now that's the wrong, so we will change them the wrong way around. So we go at, we go at, we go at, and we go at. Okay, so we copy, that's what we're going to copy. Okay, and we are going to have path, call this copy, is equal to paths.get. All right, now this is going to be called C, and we're going to put it in the original folder, and we're going to call it copy. Right, now inside the town folder, I'm going to put in a file. So I'm going to put in a text document. I'm going to call it my town. Okay. Now, so we have source and we have copy. Right. So we're going to say I'm going to say if files dot exists. If it already exists, we're going to delete it. If files deleted exists, copy. All right. No, that's wrong. So if files dot exists. Okay. So if a copy doesn't exist, create a copy. We're only going to create a copy if it doesn't exist. Right. So we're going to go here. So if it doesn't exist, copy. So we're going to go files dot copy. So what we're taking it from, which is source, I'll put it copy. Okay. Now, so why is that happening? Oh yeah, because you're doing so. When you're using the path file, you have to go try that in here, here. Go finish it soon now. Right. Now, so what we want to see is, bring up my folder here. See, original. All right. So in here. Okay. So I want to copy the county folder. All right. I'm going to copy the county folder. Where am I going to copy it to? Sorry, I'm copying the town folder. County, town. Okay. So I'm copying that folder. All right. And I'm going to copy it to the original folder. And I'm going to call that folder copy town. All right. So if it doesn't exist, so if the copy doesn't exist, we're going to copy it. All right. So I'm going to attempt to run this and see what happens. I closed the fucking thing again, did I? Oops, EX4. Now, So we will see, has the copy been created? There it is. Now, it's a shallow copy, which means it only copies the folder. It doesn't copy anything inside it. So guess what? Copy is kind of a pile of shite, right? It doesn't do what you think it does. It will copy files, yes. But if you're copying folders, so for instance, I take out that again. If I'm inside county, inside town, I have a file there. I create another folder. I call this parish. And inside parish, I have street. So if I run this, so just to prove, so copy returns a Boolean, doesn't it? Oh no, it returns a path. Okay. So it does return a path. Run it again. Now if I go here, I go to original again. I see copy town. All right, so copy town has been created again, but none of the subfolders are in it. So copy is kind of a pile of shite, really. It'll copy files, all right, no problem. All right, that's not the problem. It's when you're copying directories. It doesn't copy the directories. So what you would ideally need to do, if you want to copy the directory, you need to find the directory, what it is, use the URI, and then you would use that, then use create directories to create the directory structure, and then you would copy in the contents of it. So it's kind of a roundabout way, but there is other ways around it as well, right? So copy doesn't do what you think it does. All right, so that's a very short lesson. I understand that, but it's better than nothing. All right, so that is finished for today. Now this one will be uploaded as, let's go back to here, up to the very top. This one is going to be uploaded as 9.2f. Now we will get this section finished tomorrow. I still have to do a bit more with copy, so we will have 9.2 finished tomorrow, and I might do a bit of 9.3 Saturday and Sunday, because I've nothing else to be doing. All right, so this one is going to be called 9.2f. So we shall see you, well, you'll see me, all right, soon enough. Okay, good luck, so folks. We'll see you. Bye.